All right, it's time for another edition of You Make the Call.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
The Minnesota Vikings came close to setting a number of records in this week's game against the Ravens. Which record did they set? A, most false starts in a game. B, most passes batted down. C, most fumbles on kickoff returns. D, most fumbles by the same team on the same kickoff return. E, piss poor efforts by overpaid wide receivers on balls that were intercepted. F, most plays where not a single wide receiver could get an inch of separation from the defenders. Or G, all of the above. I think it's all of the above. I don't think there's any question. All that sums up what went wrong today against the Ravens. Sometimes you get beat. A lot of times you get beat. You're like, well, the other team is trying to win. The other team has professionals. The other team has Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh as their coach, and they got a lot. Derrick Henry as the running back. They got some talent. They want to win. They're coming in to try to win, to try to keep their season alive. Sometimes you get beat and you tip your hat to them. And sometimes you just beat yourself like a drum. Sometimes you get seven false starts? I don't think that's the Ravens causing that. You're beating yourself. Sometimes you get virtually every pass batted down that you throw. Sometimes you just get the fumbles and just fumble and fumble and fumble. Just give the ball away. Sometimes you have all day to throw and you throw it up to your wide receiver who you know is going to give no effort and is going to let it be intercepted and then make no effort on the interception return. This was Vikings beating themselves in a fashion beyond what is even normally possible or conceivable for them. There was under a minute left in the first half, or near the end of the first half, and the Vikings were ahead 10-6, I believe, and about to punt. And then the Ravens ended up getting the ball back and getting a field goal. But I just noted at the time, they're ahead 10-6, and everything just seemed dead. The team seemed dead. The crowd seemed dead, which they are almost a lot of the time at US Bank. Oh, it's this tough place to play. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a bunch of people who show up like a bunch of freaks, put their horns on, do their skull chant, and then the second something goes wrong, they sit on their hands and act dumb. Like, what's going on? I thought we were going to win. I thought J.J. McCarthy was just going to walk off the street in his first season playing and be the greatest player in history. That's not how it works. But I just noted, it seemed dead. It just felt dead. They're going into halftime ahead 10-9. I'm just like, I don't feel good about this at all. And what I felt was what was going to happen. They're just going to fall apart in the second half. Mistake after mistake after mistake. And they just seemed flat. They had that opening drive where McCarthy hit Naylor, and Naylor's the one bright spot, I think. And there actually seems to be some chemistry between McCarthy and Naylor, and pretty much zero chemistry between McCarthy and Jefferson. But that was it. There was that touchdown drive to start the game, and then nothing. Then nothing. Nothing. Play calling was flat. There was like a 3rd and 12 in the first half where there was this stupid Kevin O'Connell special. Reminded me of a play like against the Giants in the playoffs a few years ago where lateral to Jefferson, who has to then lateral it back across to McCarthy. And McCarthy made like 12 people miss and still didn't get the first down. Like, McCarthy got everything he possibly could have out of that play and it didn't get the first down. So what are you doing running a risky play like that? And wouldn't you rather throw it back to, I don't know, Aaron Jones or Jalen Naylor or somebody who can run, somebody with some speed? But no, we're going to throw it back to J.J. McCarthy, who's going to have no chance of getting the first down, and then we'll punt. Kevin O'Connell. Penalties, turnovers, penalties, turnovers, penalties, turnovers, penalties, turnovers. This team was not freaking prepared. They were all up last week against the Lions. Everything was great. Everything worked. Offense, defense, special teams, everything worked. This week, the defense was, I think, okay. But Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy.
I made them extra sloppy for you.
Again, the head coach didn't get them prepared. Having said that, it's also your all-world, all 2 touchdowns through 9 games, wide receiver Justin Jefferson. It doesn't matter if your quarterback doesn't make a good throw. If you can keep a defender from intercepting it, you got to make an effort. He made no effort on that first interception, and that's where the tide turned, really. Made no effort. And then there was a second interception McCarthy threw on a similar throw it up for grabs play where Jefferson just kind of lollygagging in his route, just lollygagging, getting no separation, then trips, gets the feet tangled with the defender, falls down, and then gets intercepted, and Jefferson gives no effort on the interception return. And McCarthy had no pressure on those plays, those first 2 interceptions. He threw no pressure at all. So again, totally unforced. But he's a rookie. Well, technically, I guess he's not a rookie, but he's basically a rookie. There's going to be some mistakes he's going to make, and your all-world 2 touchdowns through 9 games wide receiver, outside the red zone Hall of Famer Justin Jefferson, just needs to be better. And it wasn't just that play. It was just him not making plays, not getting separation. Jalen Naylor's catching everything. And just mark my words, if you think J.J. McCarthy is the answer, the only way he's going to be the answer is if you get rid of Justin Jefferson. I mean, these are growing pains for McCarthy. This is his 4th start or 5th career start? What is it? 4th career start?
Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
No.
You shouldn't expect him to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback in his rookie year. Although you can expect him to not throw 2 completely unforced interceptions when he's under no pressure. But it's somewhat understandable. This stuff will happen. He's got to learn to play at this level. And he shows some flashes of greatness. But we got to understand there will be growing pains. And when we have like idiot Vikings fans, like this idiot Vikings podcaster, when this thing about J.J. McCarthy and his 9 alter ego come out, he's like, oh, everybody's so scared of J.J. McCarthy and his 9. They're so scared. The whole league is scared. They're scared of him. They're going to win multiple Super Bowls with J.J. and KOC. They're so scared. The Ravens look scared today? You stupid homer. You stupid low IQ. I can't function if I have to acknowledge things aren't perfect with my team. Loser. Yeah, they're real scared. No, they're not scared of a rookie being unbelievably pretentious about his alter ego. They're scared of guys who can beat them. They're scared of guys who don't throw 10 passes that get batted down at the line of scrimmage. They're scared of guys who don't have no pressure and throw 2 interceptions that change the momentum of the game. Maybe JJ is really JJ Evans, not in the dynamite sense, but just a guy who's never going to win a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I don't conclude a lot from McCarthy's performance here other than it's his 4th game. There's going to be ups and downs. He's got to get reps. He's got to get out there. And the most important thing, he's got to stay healthy. That's the most important thing. He's got to stay healthy. That's my concern. I don't think he looks great throwing the ball. I don't think his throwing motion is great. He's locking in on guys. Things are getting batted down. It's concerning, but bottom line is you need your all-world 2 touchdowns through the first 9 games wide receiver to help you out a little more. And you also need to not have your team come out so flat and sloppy. There's a huge problem with the head coaching position. There's a huge problem that we're way overpaying for Justin Jefferson. We have too much invested in him. He's not a winner. You're not going to get to the promised land with him. But, you know, just another game where we got out-coached and we beat ourselves. Must be a Sunday in the fall.